How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another full guide progressing through a key piece of content. We are going to do a complete look at all the gearing, building this team out from scratch here in Gear Raid 2. I think this is maybe the most important content for growing your account because this is the content you can beat your first 19 in for the 3 gear raids and your first 21 in far earlier than the other content. Yes, it's slightly hero dependent, but as you'll see with this strategy, it is not that hero dependent at all, and you can really bat above your weight class. And that is pretty key when you want to start developing your account, because the difference between farming out an 18 versus a 19 or a 21 is pretty freaking huge. So here we are today in Stitch's account. Let's go after it. You're gonna see the whole thing from tip to tail, how I'm gonna take this on and not only get his first ever Gear Raid 219 clear, jumping from 18, that huge necessary jump, we're gonna take it all the way to 21. And you're gonna see it's very cool because you only need to build 5 heroes. And actually, if your DPS is good enough, you only need to build 4. So without further ado, let's enter this piece of content. Let's strip out all of his units and let's get started.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
So first things first, the number 1 unit I want to see is Desimus, but a lot of people don't save Desimus. I wanted to put this at the beginning of the video because please save Desimus. He is a rare. You will very, very easily get him, if not on your first day playing, certainly within your first week. Just take 1 copy and lock him. He does not need to be 6 stars like this Desimus. He can be 3 stars, level 1. The only thing he needs, there you go. You can see, great job by Stitch. He locked his Desimus. The only thing he needs, or the only 2 things he needs promotion 1, so he needs just 1 purple star. When you get that, you unlock this passive over here, Defiance, and then you can probably guess what the second thing is. You need to max out this passive, Defiance. Without this passive, he does not have any unyielding, he doesn't have any death avoidance, and without the skill ups, it only lasts 6 seconds, not 8 seconds. And while you can make the 6 seconds work, it is far too sweaty. Do yourself a favor, there are so few rare heroes in this game worth any rare skill dust, let alone rare skill crystals. Take those blue rare skill crystals and max this out. After you've done that, he is complete. He does not need an artifact. He does not need gear. You already have right outside the box, even if he was still level 1 and only 3 stars, if he has the singular purple promotion star and he has this skill maxed out, he is complete. His job is just to get spammed out a lot. He has a very low redeployment cost, and then take advantage of his delay death. Every 18 seconds, you're putting him back out there, at least every 18 seconds or more whenever you need him, and he is gonna take blows that would be given to you by the enemy units incoming. Next up, you're gonna wanna pick your DPS. So there are a lot of DPS you can use in Gear Raid 2. The easiest way to beat Gear Raid 2, believe it or not, is just to solo DPS it. Only bring 1 damage dealer. And very likely you're gonna place that unit right here on this tile. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do now with so many of the good melee DPSers that have arrived in the game recently, like Valara and Neza, and some legacy options, obviously, like Ardia and Arrogance, and so on and so on. And you can put them here or here, out of the way of these lanes. That being said, unless you're using Valara as a tactician in this tile pointed up, so you're still using her as a platform, even someone as good as her, I think, is inferior to the best platform DPS. That is not to say Valara and then these other melee units, these other fighters, aren't great choices, but I'm just going to shout out a couple platform DPS that I do think are preferable if you have got them. The number 1 unit in this game, without a doubt, I think, because she's so easy to use, is Hotsit. Hotsit's range with the square around her that she's in the middle of when she ults is so good. She puts out such a high quantity of units. Leading up to when you use her ult, she's going to be using her basic attack, which is bouncing around, placing decreased defense. Using Hotsit makes for the lowest gearing requirement in the game for getting this done, so we are going to feature her here today. And like I said, I'm going to simply put her right here. Some other excellent AoE platform options are going to be Virna. If you've got an Anora, her burst is phenomenal. There really are so many you can use. even less popular options you don't see that much absolutely work. Iax can work, Nyx can work, Razok can work, perhaps Zealous could even work after his buff. There's the girl Virna. Comet is fantastic. He is really easy to build in terms of how strong he is and how to make this work. He's a little trickier to use with the timings, getting his ult up, you know, making sure it's all perfect, especially if you're not using an Esotericist Lord or you don't want to do Laurel cycling, but very good option. Zarus is good, Beatrix is great. There's really so much you can use, and that is my point. If you have any questions, if you have a DPSer that you're wondering, could this unit work? Let me know in the comments and I will answer whether or not I think that's a good choice, and if that unit is, 1, viable at all, and 2, even if they're viable, still a good choice. But we're gonna go with Hotsit because she's super, super clean to use. And because we're using Hotsit and basically we have a little flexibility, we are going to bring a Nightmare Lord. And while Torador would be better per se, because he's a better Lord for Hotsit than Wrath, I actually like to go with Wrath a lot for one main reason. He is a lot lower cost than Torador. Torador comes in at 25 cost. Wrath is a very affordable 16 cost. We are going to be doing a lot of cycling on and off the field in this video. So for that reason, it is really, really helpful to have lower cost units. We will bring a cost generator because of course we will, but I do want to point out that yes, if you can't gear your Hotsit and you're right on the cusp, then a Torador would be better. Otherwise, Wrath is fine. It's good to have him as a warm body for certain parts of the fight where you just need to put something down, get it hit by a runner, and die. And at 16 cost, he is a good choice for that. Let's stick with our nightmares now, and there's one very, very obvious unit we absolutely need, and she is the core to this. You cannot do exactly what you're about to see me do here without Vulca, and you need your Vulca A1. So you can beat this without Vulca. You can actually do a similar strategy without Vulca. It's just technically much harder cycling everything on and off, but you do need Vulca for exactly the way you're about to see me do it now, and she needs to be A1. That's because when Vulca's A1, allies' redeployment times are reduced by 25%. And that is so important. To make all these things line up, this awakening was very much designed. You can see it once you've done Gear A2 so many times, like I have. They very much gave her this awakening for us to do this strat. So a lot of people like to say this is a cheese. Heck, when I first started doing it this way, I felt like it was cheesy. But you really learn this was very intentional because the timings work so beautifully, right? The devs knew what they were doing. So this takes your standard heroes redeployment down from 60 seconds to 45 seconds. It takes a unit like Desimus, who has a very low time of 18 seconds, turns that into 13.5 seconds, and it makes everything silky smooth. So you need an A1 Vulca. After that, though, she does not need to have anything on at all. So let's strip her artifact, and let's make this very nice. No gear, no artifact. Problem solved with Vulca. We can do the same with Wrath, by the way. He doesn't need anything either. So let's take this artifact off, and I just want to show you how low we can get the BP on this team. There is one more nightmare unit we want to bring while we're keeping this as budget as possible, and that is going to be Baron, the nightmare tank. And again, wouldn't you know it, for your Baron, unless you need a little extra gear on your Hotsit and you need him as a stall unit, you can once again get away with no gear at all. And that's what we're going to do. No gear, no artifacts. Baron needs one of two things. This passive Immortal Wrath over here maxed out, so he gets 8 seconds of staying alive after he triggers his Unyielding. This puts him at the same pace as Desimus. He gets that 8-second delay death. It helps for all the beautiful timing you're going to see in this playthrough. Or he simply needs an A3, and that's actually pretty easy to get given he is a fairly common epic hero, right? He's not some rare legendary. So when you have him A3, that passive immediately does get 3 additional seconds. So if you have the passive maxed out to 8 seconds plus the A3, that's 11 seconds. Comfortably, you only need 8 seconds, and if you're willing to be a little uncomfortable, you can get away with 7 seconds. So even without any skill ups here, you can make it happen with 7 seconds. However, with just epic skill dust, it is very likely you'll hit level 2 at a minimum, which would bring this from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. add on the A3, there are your 8 seconds. So this is the final key unit. You obviously don't need Baron here the same way you don't need Desimus. You need some unyielding heroes. I'm just choosing these two, but these are some of the cheaper and easier options. I would always pick these options even if I was on the test server and had every single hero in the game if I was to use this strategy. But just to shout out a few, Brokir, Regulus, Malvira, all very good options. Rocks, there's an epic. Anyone that has some kind of delayed death works really nicely. Another reason Baron is a top tier choice is because he completes our nightmare comp, right? He is our 4th nightmare unit. So his presence and him being deployed at any time just gives your hot sit that extra juice. Once all of these 4 have touched the battlefield at any point during this fight, we will have maxed out the Nightmare Lord skill from Wrath. You can see over here, once you've had 4 units deployed, it's 35% additional attack speed. Simply put, that is pretty freaking cool. Like, there's not much more to say about it. You don't need it, right? But it is worth noting. And once they're picked up, that still counts as them having been deployed, and all those bonuses still last. It's not like you start back from scratch. They don't all need to be out there at the same time. They just all need to touch the battlefield at some point, at least once. Those are the first 5 heroes of the 10 units we're bringing into this battle, but so far of these 5, only one of them, Hotsit, our DPS, will be getting geared in any way. Everyone else is basically a warm body with some special ability or special thing that they bring to the table. So let's go to some units we're actually going to gear, and the best place to start is going to be Vortex. You do not need to use Vortex, but again, like Baron, like Desimus, like Wrath, you see the theme, he's very accessible. He is easy to build. We need some kind of healer that is going to be what I call a platform tank. He's going to sit on a platform and tank all the incoming damage. Because the rock throwers that come out on some of the cycles in this stage are always going to target the first placed platform unit. And when they target that unit, they are going to deal splash damage. So they'll hit that unit and deal damage on a plus sign kind of thing to all surrounding heroes. So what we want to do is find a good platform to put a platform tank, which should be a healer, in my opinion, and make sure there's no one nearby. So they can just keep tanking that rock throw damage, they heal themselves back up, and they just draw all the aggro from those throwers. So I think Vortex is a phenomenal choice. I think an HP-based healer is what you're going to want, period, just because they're easy to build. Crank HP to the moon, crank attack speed to the moon, and you're done. That being said, you could get away with a lot of things. You know, a well-built Elwyn works, a well-built Pharisee works. A lot of things could work, but at the end of the day, when it comes to accessibility and just everything in general, Vortex is a super, super strong option. So we are going to bring him. To get the most out of our Vortex and to make this as easy as possible, we really want a Lord for him. So let's go and let's click on the North Throne and see if we've got an Isolde, and we do, and she's built. And that's what I love to see, because now Isolde can serve 2 roles. You need 2 main tanks for this strategy. That's really for the second big wave, the really hard part of the fight after you've gotten 10 kills. And for that, for most strategies, you're going to want 2 units tanking, 1 covering each lane. So Isolde is a great choice because, again, she's accessible, she's only an epic, and she can serve 2 purposes. She is a Lord for herself and Vortex and any other Northerners we're going to bring, so she's giving the occasional shield, plus she's giving the basic attribute boost that any epic Lord would be giving, plus 10% basic attributes to everyone. And especially if she's built out to 6 stars, you can get away with 5 stars, but you'll need better gear. If she's at 6 stars, she's a pretty easy to build tank. So she can be one of the units covering one of those lanes. So now we know we've got 1 tank, we only need 1 more. So let's actually look, do we have a good choice here in a North Throne tank? We have a couple. We've got Olag, we've got Rocks, we've got Crowdor, Malvira, Avalyn, Brokir. All of these are good choices. I am going to go with Olag. We're trying to, again, keep this as budget friendly as possible, keep our BP down. He does a fine job. The shielding he provides himself through his Silver Shield passive makes him really easy to build. With him, we don't really need to care about defense or anything. Just crank the HP up, make sure his Silver Shield passive is maxed or close to it, and you will be good to go. I will say Avalyn would totally work, Rocks would totally work, and obviously these legendaries would work, especially Malvira and Brokir and Rocks of the ones I just mentioned, because they all have delayed death. But I don't want to bring a legendary, so Crowdor, Brokir, and Malvira are out. but obviously they're great choices. And then Avalon and Rocks are not fully promoted, so not really worth it. So now we've got another role filled. So we've got our 2 tanks to build. We have our healer tank, our platform tank to build with our HP-based healer Vortex, and then we've got our DPS. In theory, this could be everything. This could be everything we need. The only other thing we'd have to bring is some kind of cost generator. That could be Narvi, that could be Dallin, or that could be Cyrene. If you're watching this video in the future after Kane comes out, he's coming out this weekend when I'm filming this, you could also use Kane. But once you have a cost generator, those are all the units you need. Obviously, we'd have an extra spot, so you might be able to guess who we're going to bring for that spot. But I'm going to go ahead and already put Dallin here. With Hot Sit, you can get away without using a cost generator, but if you're not very well versed at this comp, I don't think it's worth the headache of not bringing a cost generator. But I do want to point out that conventional wisdom is to bring some kind of cost regen unit, but because Hot Sit's only 12 cost, where other DPS you might use are going to be 19 cost like a Comet, 20 cost like a Virna, maybe even higher, maybe it's an Iax who's 26 cost, something crazy like that. Because of that, you definitely want a cost generator. But if you're bringing Hot Sit and you're good at the techniques, you actually can get away with no cost generator. But we're going to bring a cost generator. I recommend Dallin because she can generate the most cost. She does it passively over time. It is not tied to her ultimate, so you don't have to worry about her charging her ultimate multiple times. She can get 2 full triggers of her Rebel passive over here as long as you have it at level 4 or level 5. I recommend having this at level 5. She's just a great unit, and she's going to help you a ton in Gear Raid 2 and Gear Raid 3, getting the cost you need, and in general, she can help with progression on younger accounts. But for Dallin, once you know it, once again, she doesn't need any skill ups, nothing. She just needs this passive, this Rebel auto, maxed out. So finally, let's finish off our roster with our 10th unit. Then let's get into gearing. It won't take a while. And then let's do our runs. Who's the final unit you can bring? Well, like I said, if you've got good gear for your Hot Sit, you don't need to bring anyone to boost her. And your final unit can just be another DPS to help you quickly kill the boss at the end of the fight, which is something I would suggest for some people. Or if you've got really, really bad gear, maybe you bring 2 DPS units and you can cycle 2 units on and off at the same time. So maybe a Hot Sit and a Silas every time. I don't like that strategy. I like the solo DPS strategy. So if you can solo DPS it with Hot Sit very well, just bring another DPSer for the very end of the fight, someone like a Kagiri maybe to quickly kill the boss. This is really just for the end. Or you do what we're going to do here and you just bring an inspiration unit for Hot Sit. So there are a lot of options in inspiration now, but we're going to go with the all-time classic, and that is going to be Dolores, because she's easy, and just a little bit of inspiration from Dolores makes Hot Sit so easy to build. So speaking of building, let's get into gearing right now, and let's kick things off with Hot Sit. All right, so to gear your DPS, in this case Hot Sit, you want to start with your right side gear. Let's strip everything off. Let's also strip off the artifact. We'll come back to that. For the right side, ideally, you want triple attack bonus for the main stat for everything. Triple attack bonus is just going to be superior to running any amount of crit damage main stats, assuming the general substat pools are equal. That being said, especially if you're bringing someone like a Dolores or a Diao Chan, some kind of inspiration booster. Beelzebub, also fantastic. As long as you're bringing someone to booster, you can get away with at least 1 crit damage main stat. If your gear is very good, you could get away with 3 crit damage main stats. But the main thing we want to look for is some kind of triple attack bonus on the right. So let's see what we're looking at with gear. You can see he doesn't have any tier 2 gear on this account. He's had a couple random tier 3 pieces, but to keep it simple, we are going to go for the tier 1. And I noticed already right out of the bat, he had 1 Ancient Night Terror piece, another Ancient Night Terror piece, and then nothing here, but maybe this is usable from Valkyria. It looks like it is, so I think we're probably going to go Night Terror. And key thing here, that is if you're going to want to do a set, because if you don't have an optimal tier 1 set, broken set very likely is better if you can get better stats that way. But if you can get a set together, the top 2 sets you're going to look for sure are going to be Night Terror and Wisdom. It kind of depends on the unit, but they're both going to be really viable since you're almost always sitting on an ultimate, so you're going to get a similar burst. Wisdom for Hot Sit would be better here, but I'm seeing more of the Night Terror, so we will go for that. So let's look at this piece from Valkyria. honestly more than good enough for me. We just want a decent crit damage sub roll. Yeah, very good here again. These are all trios. The 4th substat is irrelevant, but that is fine. As long as we're getting enough crit rate that she's going to be crit capped and enough crit damage that she can hit a little bit hard, we're good to go. Let's actually turn off the attack bonus main stat here, and let's just see for our Night Terror stuff. We know we're building a Night Terror set now, so let's sort by that. Yeah, our hands are kind of tied, so let's look at this Valkyria piece. Crit damage is low, but everything else is fine. We're going to be well above where we need to be for crit, so let's rock with that. Now, for the left side, ideally you want a trio of stats in both the weapon and the breastplate, especially for hot sit where attack speed is less relevant. When I say a trio of stats, I'm talking DPS stats. I mean attack bonus, crit rate, crit damage. Let's see if he's got any of that. The only way to get it on the weapon is going to be through an ancient, a variant, or an exclusive piece. You can see he's got this piece right here. The rolls aren't that special though, so we're just going to ignore it. I also don't want to use tier 3 gear. Let's check on the breastplate now. You can always get these 3 stats on a breastplate, and he's got this very, very nice piece here that is randomly on Eunomia. So let's throw that on, and you can see we're only 10% crit rate away from the crit cap. The attack is already quite good. It's about to get a lot better with a weapon and completing this Calamity set, and the crit damage looks bad, but honestly, take my word for it, it is fine. Like, if you have enough attack and your crit damage is over, let's say 215% or something, you're going to be fine in this battle. I know that sounds weird, but it is true. If you're bringing an inspiration unit, if you crank attack to the moon, attack is king in this. Absolutely it is. So let's look and let's see. We're going to go for attack bonus as the priority stat with crit rate. Let's go to the weapon. We just need something to match. We've got this piece here with Valkyria, 22%. This piece here with Ajax. Let's just take this. It's got 21%. This piece is objectively better, but it's going to make no difference. So let's just go for the non-ancient just to make it look a little friendlier. But there you go. I mean, stuff you can all farm at stage 17, 18, whatever, pre-19 stuff, all tier 1. That's going to be our hot sit. And the final check-in, attack is very good. Over 13k is kind of what we're looking for, and we got her to 14.1. Crit damage is pretty bad, but it's better than you think at 238%. She is crit capped. We're absolutely cooking. This is going to be fine. This hot sit is also max skilled. I will say you can get away with a hot sit that is not max skilled. You really do want the ult max skilled. If you don't have it, you can do it. You'll just need better gear. And this gear honestly would be close to getting it done without max skill up, so we don't have the option to go check since I can't unskill her. But just try and see, and then you'll see how far off you are. You'll be able to see on the HP bars after she finishes ulting, if there's someone still alive, exactly how far off you are. For the artifact, there are a million options here. I'm trying to see, does he have an Idril's Gaze? He does. It is not built. Let's see what his fantastic mithril situation is. Pretty good. Give me one moment. I'm going to max this thing out. All right, there we go. I maxed out the Idril's Gaze. I think for accessible pieces, this is the top option. If you've got a good hot sit exclusive, that's pretty cool. If you have got this guy over here, the Bloodbond Signet, nice way to get some extra crit damage. You know, we could actually probably just brought this to +10 and thrown that on. But to make it fair, we're using an Idril's Gaze. She's got a pretty good chance to start ignoring crit damage. There's such a high number of hits she's putting out. It's a very high likelihood she hits 1 crit. After she does, she's going to ignore 40% of defense and magic res on the targets. So in this case, defense for the next 3 seconds. Her ult's only going to last 4 seconds. So she'll have done that leading up to the ultimate, and it will be pretty dang nice. But there's so many artifacts you could use on her. In general, whether you're using hot sit or someone else, just get an artifact that synergizes with a kit and is at a decent promotion. Another one here that'd be fine is the Shadow Gaze. And then, like I said, you could just throw on a base promo, Bloodbound Signet, no extra gold stars here, and you're good to go. So that's our final hot sit build, not even 80k BP, and she's gonna do great. So how's she gonna do great? Well, that build, being skilled out, and Dolores. Dolores is going to help a lot. The key thing with Dolores, you don't need this, but it's going to make your life 100 times easier, is getting the right artifact on her. And there it is. And I'll even leave it at base promotion, but that artifact will be the Tumultuous Horn, formerly known as the Spirit Horn. I guess at this point it's been called Tumultuous Horn for like over a year. But what does this do? Every time you deploy the unit wearing this, they get initial extra rage on that deployment. So here it's going to be at base promo plus 25% rage. So it's a 25% boost in Dolores' ult bar towards being able to ult and give the inspiration when we need it every time she's deployed. Because we're cycling her on and off here at least 3 times, this is pretty clutch. If you can get promotions into this, I suggest you do. You see here we only have 1 extra copy. I could put some of this legendary essence in, but just for the point, or just to make the point that you don't have to, I'm going to leave it where it is. We could bring it to promo 4. Every time you promote it, we get an extra 5% initial rage on deploy, but frankly, the 25% is enough so that you don't have to sweat getting her ult off. If we didn't use this, if we used something like a Keen Wisdom, or if we used a Golden Scarab to try to boost her attack, it gets really sweaty, especially the second or third time you're bringing her out. The timings are very difficult, so I just don't recommend it. Just use the Tumultuous Horn and you are good to go. Or the gearing, if you're an account like this and you don't have tier 2 gear. If you've got tier 2 gear, use Invig. If you've got tier 3 gear, use Wings of Grace. You likely don't have either. The only choices, there are only 2 choices if you only have tier 1 gear. See if you have some good Glacier and you can crank Attack to the Moon with flat attack in the substats. We can't do that. There's no attack bonus main stat on the ring. So in that case, just do Broken Set. It really doesn't matter. Go piece by piece and look for your attack bonus main stat pieces on Ring, Amulet, and Bangle and see which has the highest flat attack. So boom, 474 flat attack. We got this from Silas, 465 flat attack. We got this from Salazar over here, 420, and already her attack is getting really, really high. For the left side, if you only have tier 1 stuff, obviously you want to go Calamity set. The whole point here, the whole way her inspiration works, is she's sharing a portion of her attack with everyone in range. The only thing relevant here is she's sharing some of her attack stat with Hot Sit, so heading into the battle, we want to make sure we have as much attack built upon her as possible. So flat attack's already the main stat for the weapon, so we're just seeing what's the highest attack bonus substat on weapons. This one has 24.5%. That's great. And then for the breastplate, we can get attack bonus and flat attack. Let's see. 27%, 369. Let's compare it to this. Yeah, this is going to be superior. It is worth comparing, though, because a good flat attack roll can do actually a lot for Dolores since she has such low base attack. Like we see here on this breastplate, 27% with 369. If we had like 25%, but this was 450, that would be better. You know, even less bonus and more flat attack. It's always worth checking. It always is. But there you go. We had to go Broken Set, but we're in a really good spot. Her attack is over 12k. It's at 12.6k, and that's with our base promo Tumultuous Horn. This is going to be more than enough. We've now geared our 2 heroes for DPS. Now let's gear essentially our 3 tanks. We have our 2 defender tanks with Isolde and Olog, and then we have our healer, who is our platform tank in Vortex over here. I like to gear from hardest to easiest. Olog is going to be the easiest because of his self-shielding. Vortex is the hardest because we need a decent amount of attack speed. And then Isolde's in the middle. She needs a little defense where Olog doesn't. That's why she's going to be geared before him. So we're going to gear the hardest to the easiest, starting with Vortex. And it's pretty easy here. Hopefully we have the gear. If you can build like an Asclepius set, something like that, do it. But realistically, you just want to go HP bonus main stat, and then attack speed and ideally flat HP in the subs, and see if we've got anything. Nothing's really jumping out to us. We have this nice piece with great heal effect from Isolde, and then I actually saw this piece over here that doesn't have flat HP but does have attack speed. This is a Asclepius set, so now we're actually building something. For the middle piece, what happens if we get rid of this flat HP? Do we have a nice Asclepius piece? We have a not nice one. Let's max this piece out very quickly. I just want a big attack speed sub roll. The quick enhance was not selected. That is infuriating. There we go. Terrible roll. The other final thing to check is, do we have anything with attack speed main stat and then a nice HP bonus sub? And we do. Look at that, with some rage regen and heal effect to boot. So we're going to toss that on, and you can see we're just trying to crank the HP bonus to the moon with decent attack speed. Because we picked this up as a main stat, it's also worth quickly checking if we forget attack speed and go for flat HP. Is there anything good here? Nothing's really jumping out to us. Actually, this piece, right? We can get another 1635 HP. We lose the attack speed, but we have more than enough now from the amulet. I'm going to toss that new bangle on, and now we're pretty good. You want at least 350 attack speed on your Vortex, so we're at 369 here. If you can get more, please do. If you get him over 450, you're absolutely cooking. And then after that, it depends how fast he is, but for HP, you want at least 35k, and especially if you're using a Solda and not a legendary Northerner Lord, I would really suggest 37, 38k or more. So what we're going to do now, we move over to the right, and we're looking for flat HP, HP bonus, and attack speed. And actually, there is something here for us. This is a beautiful Life Force weapon. We're going to take that. We're also going to get the nice Life Force bonus. And then for the breastplate, you can't get HP because that is the main stat. We're just looking for HP bonus. Maybe he's got a nice, and he does, he's got a nice cheeky breastplate. So check on your account to see if you can get this. Look at that, 21% HP bonus and another 77 attack speed. That would take this to a brilliant, brilliant build. You can see 42.2k HP and 510 attack speed. I'm actually going to take this off because it's a little bit overkill, and I realize some of you might not have an ancient Life Force breastplate with a nice HP bonus roll and attack speed. So we'll just go like this. What is the Life Force weapon on his account with the highest HP bonus roll? Can I sort? Can I see? Let's look. That's fine, 20.5%. We could also add heal effect and see if that helps. Nothing's rolled, so we'll ditch that. We're going to toss this piece on, and we're in a pretty good spot. So the final check-in is 42.2. He's got 433 attack speed and even a decent amount of heal effect at 69. Very nice. Artifact-wise, nothing matters too much. North's Glory is a little redundant. It basically makes other healers able to do what Vortex does, which is when you have excess heal, you can put out shields. That's kind of what he already does with his kit. What I'm going to do is just put on a Taya's Balm. This is really nice. It gives you some clutch heals. We're also getting a nice flat stat contribution with this 3100 HP. So the absolute final check-in on Vortex is going to be 43.9k HP, 1.6 second interval, 433 attack speed. Very, very good. This is going to be a rock solid Vortex. Like I said, especially with an Isolde, maybe a Rourke, some kind of epic Northerner Lord, you could have this down at 37, maybe 38k HP as a minimum. So this should be a really, really nice build. Finally now, we're going to go a lot faster. Let's build our tanks. For Isolde, if you can get really good defense bonus and flat defense subs, you can go triple HP bonus on the right. If you can't, maybe you have to do one defense bonus main stat on the right. It all depends on your account. I feel like on this account, we can go triple HP bonus. The numbers you're looking for are at least 75k HP. Anything more is awesome. And then you only need 6k defense. So if you can get 6k defense, after that point, put everything into HP. Unless you're getting defense for free anyway with whatever build you're going to do. So let's sort like this. Pretty cool looking Guardian piece. If you're going to build a set, you might as well build Guardian. Let's keep looking. This is a fine Guardian piece. Looks like we're going to get a nice build together. Let's actually just click all this stuff off and see if we can complete this Guardian set. Looks like we can't. He doesn't have a single HP bonus main stat Guardian piece on this account from what I can tell. No. Does he have a defense bonus main stat? He does. Let's go for defense bonus with a big HP bonus sub. And this is fine, flat HP. This looks like a bad piece, but it completes the set. Guardian set is very good with the minus 15% damage taken. This is fine. Now we'll look for our 4 tank stats, and we got one right here. Good enough for me. And then here we get rid of the flat HP, and we see we got this from Laurel. Maybe even a little bit of overkill. Let's take this piece instead. And really, really good, right? So defense comes in at a very high 7,900 because we had to pick up that one defense bonus main stat, but then already 82k HP in a Guardian set. You can see very quickly with half decent gear, you can build a very simple tank setup and you're gonna be fine. If you got a Bastion Ring, I do recommend it. If you don't, there's a lot of things you could use. For a legendary, you could always just use this Watchguard's Unity, which we're actually gonna throw on right now. Gives you a little more HP. Why not? You don't need extra block for this fight. In general, it's really good to reuse the Bastion's Ring because you're boosting your damage reductions even further as you block more and more units. But this works, so let's throw that on. Finally, for Olog, the build he has might be good already, but it's pretty simple. HP to the moon, and then we'll look for defense bonus in the substats. We're gonna go full broken set here since I don't care about completing a set. So we'll just take the best rolls we've got. We're not even looking at set. and already we're in pretty good shape. For the left side now, what we really want is HP bonus, flat HP, and defense bonus. We got this piece right here that looks pretty dang good. We got to get rid of the flat HP here. Let's look for some flat defense if we can get it. Let's snag this piece, and boom shakalaka. We are good to go. Random stuff, broken set, really doesn't matter. He's coming in at 87.6k HP and over 6,000 defense. Broken set, we are good to go. Definitely don't use Heart of Thorn. Use a Bastion Ring, maybe use a Cadaver Dagger for extra HP. A lot of stuff you can do. You can use the Watchguard Unity, like I said, or in Olog's case, using the North's Will is always cool. Whenever he loses his shield, which happens a lot whenever he's resetting it, you get a heal. No one else is going to be healing him, so there's no reason not to throw this on. It's a really good artifact in general. You might use it really late into the game, even in like end game single target arena. I use my Olog there. Totally works. And there you have it. Everyone is built. We are finally ready to hop in and showcase this mode. Let me make myself a lot smaller and push myself out of the way. And let us begin. 405k BP, super accessible. You could get away with a whole lot less. Let's hop in and let's tear this thing apart. So, first things first, we want to get our cost generator unit down. If you're using Dallin, she can go anywhere. If you're using Cyrene or Narvi, they have to go here, pointed to the right. So we'll do that with Dallin too, in case you're using one of the other ones on your account. That's because this allows Narvi or Cyrene to get some hits out on the units that come down, so they can build up some extra rage, since they have cost regen that's tied to their ult. With Dallin, though, it's only time, so nothing really matters. Then we can quickly get our DPSer down. Otsit being 12 cost is also just really easy for the start of this battle. Keep an eye on this. If you need a stall, which we do need to do here, just place Desimus down. Now that you got that kill, you can pick him up. We do want to save the ult for both units. So let's ult there with Otsit. That guy's dead. Pick her up. Now we're going to leave Dallin down until she gets her next trigger of cost regen. Should be right about now. There it is. You saw that coin. And now we're looking really pretty with over 90 cost. We're basically set for the fight. So here comes the runner guy. Boom, boom, boom. After the third boom, right after you see the animation and the light go up, any second now, we're going to drop Desimus. Oh, looks like it already was there. We'll leave it. You'll see me do it again on the next one. Time is just going to be a little tighter here. Boom, boom. Place Vortex. Point him to the left. People always ask. This is so he can't heal anyone but himself. His only job is to get hit and heal himself. We don't want him getting distracted by other people. As soon as this unit makes contact with Desimus, I'm going to pick Desimus up. Now we wait a beat. And now I'm going to place a Solda here. Makes contact. These guys explode. Now I can place Otsit here, point it up, and I can place Dolores on her. I can actually, for this first bunch, because we're going to be so strong, I can already pick up a Solda. In the future, you'll see we'll put a Solda here and Olog here, or vice versa. Probably we'll actually have Olog here and then a Solda there. You see, this is Vortex being the tank. They target him. They'll always target him because he was our first place platformer. That's how they're coded. And then we'll just keep going towards him until they kill him, but they won't kill him because we built him tanky and fast, and his only job is to sit there and heal himself so he never dies. As soon as these guys are stepping into hot sit range, we can ult with Dolores. And now you'll see in just a moment, right when these guys are down here, we can start ulting with Otsit. She gets that kill. Now these guys clip into her range. She kills them. We pick up Vortex. We pick up Otsit. We pick up Dolores. It is a little tighter to do the timing like that, and I know some people might sweat it. So on stage 20, I will leave my two tanks down to make it easier for you guys to see. Here's the Golem Shriek. We wait till he does that because that would kill everybody. Now we place our two unyielding units. So we're going to place Baron here and Desimus here. And you can see we're still very good on cost. For that one, as soon as he does the Shriek, you can place. For the next one, you want to be a little more thoughtful. I'll explain it when we get there. Go to 1x, click on Desimus. As soon as they make contact, pick him up. As soon as this guy shows Baron his back, pick him up. Let these guys take a couple steps. Now we're going to drop some units here. Every time these guys make contact, they lose at least half their health, so they just delete themselves in that way. Now we can place Olog and Solda there already. They cannot get targeted by the rock throwers. That's only platform units. Vortex is ready, so we do him there, pointed to the left. Now we're just waiting for Hot Sit and Dolores. Boom and boom. And now you'll see, this is why you want that horn. We got an extra 25% of her bar. If the horn was nice and promoted, it could be up to 50%, and we can line this all up a lot better. Otherwise, we'd just be sitting here waiting, and Hot Sit would be ready with her ult, but she wouldn't have an inspiration unit to boost her. Using the horn on Dolores is awesome. I will say, if you've got Diao-Chan, just use her, because her ult comes up a lot faster, and it's 100% uptime once you switch her into black mode. This is the tricky part. You'll see when you've got 4 rock throwers, there's 2 pairs, and they're all targeting Vortex over here, but we're doing fine. Soul is almost ready to ult. Let's do that just to be ready. Let's ult with Dolores now. And now for the optimal Hot Sit timing. As soon as these guys turn, and you can see this is her ult range, as soon as they're clipping in, you ult with Hot Sit, pick up Vortex, pick up Isolde, pick up Olog, make sure everyone's dead, and now you pick up Dolores and Hot Sit, and we're good to go. Here's the next Golem Shriek. I'll explain the Shriek before that better next time, but basically when you see the Shriek the first time on the one before this, you can just put them down right away. On this one, to be safe, I like to do it like this. He does boom, 1 hit, that's when you put Baron. Then boom, 1 hit, that's when you put Desimus, and now you're good. If you put Desimus right away, those first 2 booms are gonna trigger his unyielding too fast, and he's gonna die before this last guy comes down. So Baron, if you've got his passive maxed out and you've got him A3, you can put him down right at the beginning. Otherwise, do it after the first smash. And then Desimus, always do it after he goes boom, boom, then place him. But you can place him before the third one. It's not like the very start of the battle. Wait for them to run down. As soon as they make contact with Desimus, it's the same operation here. We pick them up. As soon as they show Baron the back, we pick them up. We just drop some units. I am going to drop Vulca now because this is our 4th and final Nightmare unit. So now we've got the full Nightmare boost for Hot Sit. Doesn't really make a difference, but maybe we'll kill the boss, 0.1 second faster. Now we're just waiting for Desimus to come back around. So this is another reason why we need Vulca to lower the redeployment times. He gets hit once. Then we wait for the boss to go start the animation to hit him again. And now you can already pick up Desimus. Now he's going to take a couple steps, and then he's going to go for a big slam. Boom. As soon as he stands up straight, we put our tank down, we put our healer down, we put our DPS down, we put our booster down, and we are good to go. I'm going to hold the Hot Sit ult until Dolores is ready just to make sure this one-shots, just for the interest of time. Boom and boom. There you go, 219 in the books. Let's go straight to 220 now. 220 is going to be just as easy. 221 will be a little bit harder, but effectively these are the exact same stage 3 times in a row. Nothing really changes, it just gets harder. The timing on 21 changes a little bit at the beginning because you get less cost to start the fight. That's another reason I like using Hot Sit, or if you don't need to bring a booster for her, you could bring a lower cost, easy deploy unit that can solo it, like Silas or Hex with an exclusive. Sithra now is crazy for it. Just someone else for the beginning, because if you're using like a Virna, 20 cost at the beginning can be really, really tricky on 21. But 20 is the same. Actually, let's hop right in and let's actually make a note of the initial cost, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So look at our cost here. We're starting with 26, almost 27 cost. That will not be the case for 21. Same story though. We placed Dallin. We're going to place Hot Sit pointed up. Let her get some hits out. Looks like she's doing pretty dang good. Get ready with Desimus for stalling. So Desimus he's on the clock now. He's got 8 seconds. Another reason I love Hot Sit is we can already pick up Desimus because Hot Sit can hit behind her. So as soon as this guy's clipping in, we can ult with Hot Sit now. We clean it all up. As soon as we get the kill, we pick her up. You saw that green ring appear above her. That was the Idril's Gaze triggering. We're going to wait for that next coin animation with Dallin. Boom, pick it up. And we're in the same spot as last time, right? Just low 90s, right, when he does the shriek. Now I'm going to show you the perfect timing for Desimus. I won't mess it up again. So boom, boom, goes for the big boom. As soon as you see that thing light up, that's when it's been triggered. Now you let go and you place him. This just ensures he lives long enough. If you do it right after the first 2, and you don't wait for the third one, you might trigger his death too early. So this is just the right way to do it. Let's place Vortex. As soon as we get contact, we're going to pick up Desimus. There we go. Let these guys take some steps before they start running again. Now they're running. We place Olag. We're going to place Isolde. We're going to place Dolores, and we're going to place Hotsit. And again, there's that Tumultuous Horn, making our life a lot better. So Dolores is already almost ready. Now remember, for this one, we ult with Dolores right when Hotsit starts targeting these guys. And actually, these rock throwers, here's something you can do for your vortex timing. There's only one pair of rock throwers, just these two guys. There are 2 pairs on the next round, so 4 total guys. This is the last rock. These are the last 2 rocks, each one of the rocks they have. Those are the last 2 they're able to throw, because as soon as they engage with our tanks, they can't throw anymore. So we can already, once they start targeting vortex here, we can already pick them up. So we wait, let these guys get into Hotsit range. There we go. Trigger, pick up our tanks. And as soon as they're dead, pick up our Dolores and pick up our DPS. So here's the second Shriek. This is the one, the timing's fine. It's different than the one after this. So as soon as they do this, you can already just immediately, for your peace of mind and your ease, place your Baron and your Desimus or whomever you're using. You see, he doesn't start slamming until these guys have already made contact and triggered the Unyielding, whereas the next one, he starts slamming before they would make contact and trigger the Unyielding. Okay, throw it on 1x as soon as they make contact with Desimus. Pick up. You know they make contact not just from the animation, but you can see the damage number appear above their head. As soon as this guy shows his back to Baron, we pick him up. And I'll show you another thing you can do if you're tight on damage. We can place Wrath here, and then we can place Vulca here. And now we've already got, that's our 4th unit, right? That's our 4th Nightmare. So now we're already up to the 35% attack speed in case you need that. And because I picked up Vortex earlier, I can already place him now. He's good to go. Let's get Olag, let's get Isolde, let's get Dolores, and let's get Hotsit. As soon as we can, we're going to ult with Dolores, and you can see Vortex is tanking this really nicely. This is a good Vortex build. Throw us on 1x. As soon as these guys turn down, we ult, we pick up Vortex, so we pick up Olag, we pick up Isolde, and they're all dead. Now we pick up Dolores and Hotsit. So really, there are very, 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 very few accounts that can beat 19 and couldn't beat 20. They're so similar in difficulty level. The challenge really only begins with 21. I mean, the original challenge of 19 is hard, especially as you're learning it, but there's only a major difficulty ramp up with 21. So here you can see the way they're running. He's going to start smashing before they would have made contact. So wait for the first one. That's when we place Baron. Wait for the second. That's when we place Desimus. You have more time than you need, right? Because you're not waiting for the third. You just want to wait for the first 2. It's going to feel very fast, but you'll get used to it. Throw it on 2x. Wait for contact. See that number above his head? Perfect. Show the back. Perfect. Now we've already placed Vulca, so let's just go for our lowest cost. Dallin and Wrath, but we're so good on cost. And with Hotsit, you really always are. You can get away with a lot of stuff with Hotsit. As soon as Desimus is ready, it's the same story. Contact. Wait till he tries to do it again. Up. Boom. You can also wait for Desimus to die naturally. It's just, I do it that way in case people are struggling with cost. Then tank, healer, Dolores, DPS. Leave it on 2x. Wait for Dolores. See, that time we don't one-shot. Still pretty fast. You'll see the next time it takes a really long time, but once you get Power of Dominance and you start farming 21, it's plenty fast. And I'll actually run that in the background once we beat 21. I'll run it again after, as we do our sign-off. There you have it. Silky smooth. Our final one here, and there is one thing we're going to change. We don't need to do this, but it's just going to be a little sweaty, and I don't want you guys to sweat, so here's a tip. You see at the beginning, when Hotsit, I'm holding that ult. When we get those first 2 enemies, those first 2 mobs slowly walking down this path. If you're having trouble getting that first guy dead or stalling that first guy until this other guy's also in ult range, what you can do is, instead of stalling with Desimus, stall with Baron. The only reason not to do this is just you have to be able to gear another tank, but even the most mediocre gear will work. You don't need him to stall for long, so let me actually show you that. We're going to do a totally unenhanced, unpromoted Watchguards Unity. Then I'm not even going to look at stats. I'm literally just going to go HP bonus, defense bonus, and just pick anything. I'm just grabbing whatever I see. There you go, broken set. And then I just want HP bonus flat HP. And that's all I'm looking at. You know what? And I'll even go broken set here. We'll grab these random pieces. Wow, very few things. All right, we're doing salvation for, there you go. Boom. So without even trying, without even looking, he's still at 88k HP and almost 6k defense. This is so easy. This is so fine. And now he's a really easy stall. It yanks your BP up if you're caring about that, but it completely works. You don't need to do this. You can still stall with Desimus. The timings are just sweaty, so let's not make it sweaty. Let's just do it like this. So I believe the number we said was either 26 or 27 cost to start on 20, and it probably was the same on 19. You can see here we start with only 20, nearly 21, so it's 6 less cost, and you will feel that, especially if you're using a Comet or a Virna or a Praetus or a whatever, right? You will feel it. Place your Dallin, place your Hot Sit. If you're not using Hot Sit, what I would say is you place your Dallin, then place your Baron, then place your Virna or Comet or whoever you have. But because Hot Sit's 12 cost, you can do this. Also, if you're using Narvi instead of Dallin, she generates less cost, but she generates costs faster. So then you could still get your DPS down first. But you can see we comfortably get it now, and we can place our Baron. And he's going to be able to take a couple hits like that. So it delays the amount of time before he triggers his delay death. And we're really fine. As soon as this guy is in Hot Sit range, we will ult. There we go. She gets the kill. Pick her up, pick up Baron, and he still has all the time in the world to come back after this first wave, and he'll be ready to go with time to spare. So that's how you get that done if you want to play it a little safer at any point, but certainly 21. There is the cost trigger. There we go. And even by using that Baron, we're still at 86 cost. Like, we're fine. Completely fine. There's the big shriek. Now we wait. Boom, boom, wait for the third boom. See the animation, drop it, boom, boom. Here he comes, boom, boom, vortex. Start on 1x, wait for contact, pick up, get your Isolde down, wait till these guys start running again. There it is. Get your Olog down, get your DPS, and get your Dolores, and we're completely dialed in. Looks like we got 3 in a row here. I've done this way too many times. This is the thing I've done the takeover for the most of any piece of content in my Watcher of Realms history. As soon as Hot Sit can target, we trigger Dolores. We can trigger Isolde here for good measure. There's the last duo of rocks they can throw, so pick up Vortex for timing's sake. As soon as they clip into the box, ult with Hot Sit, and pick up. And you can see they're dying a little slower, but heck, they're still dying. That's all that matters. We're strong enough in our random Night Terror gear and 233% crit damage. We are fine. This is the second streak, so we know we can put them down right away. Get ready for contact. There's contact with Desimus. Wait for the number. Boom. Wait to show the back. Boom. He's up. Now we're going to go Wrath and Vulca. Perfect. Vortex is ready because we picked him up early. It's a nice trick. Tank and tank. I'm just staring here at Hot Sit and Dolores. Dolores, Hot Sit, and we're good to go. So this is where Vortex gets hit the hardest. Some of you might have your run fall apart here once you've got the 2 sets of rock throws and 4 rocks are coming in at once. But like I said, if you hit those stats, 350 attack speed minimum, 300, let's say 38k HP minimum, you'll be good to go. And if you've got a Legendary Lord, you can get away with even like 37k, 36k, you're fine. As soon as Dolores can, we're gonna ult. We do have a soul that kind of taking a beating here. If she does die, that's not the end of the world. We're going to ult with her. She gives herself a little shield because she's A1. Ult with Hot Sit. Pick up Vortex. Pick up Isolde. Pick up Olog. Wait till all these guys are dead. They are. Pick up Dolores. Pick up Hot Sit. Ooh, Dolores, I missed the button. Boom. That's the third streak. So remember, 1 boom, Baron, 2 booms, Desimus. 1. Now we wait, second boom, there we go. Throw us on 2x. Contact. Turn around. Let's get a Dallin. And let's get a Wrath. Now, just to show you, if you ever want to do this, you can leave Desimus down. You're just missing out on 9 costs by not picking him back up. I don't know if it's 9 costs or whatever. So he expires, we don't get the recovery cost, but the whole same pattern happens. Place your tank, place your healer, place your hot sit, place your inspiration. And you'll see it's going to take a lot. This guy's a lot tankier, but we are good to go with everything we've already built. Ult with Dolores, ult with hot sit. You can take about half out. So it's going to be in full auto now, rinse and repeat kind of situation. If you're having any trouble with your tank, you can place the other tank here now too to stall if you wanted. Here's another hot sit ult. This should do it. We didn't have Dolores live, so it's just short. But there you go. And you will see now, I'm going to run it again as we conclude. I'm going to run it again on auto, and you will see how smooth it will go. Another cool thing, when you get all the timings like this right, you don't have to reset the auto. If things are falling apart and people are dying at different times, you do. So it doesn't matter, but it just will save you a little bit of time. But you'll see how much faster hot sit kills at the end now. Let's go here. Let's go to auto. And there you have it, guys. I hope you appreciate this. I know this is a much longer version of this guide, but this is the updated premium strategy, best, most usable strategy as of September 2025. I really think you can trust me on this one. I've beaten the stage in so many different ways with so many different heroes, and this is what I always go to because it is the easiest and it is the lowest requirement. So you could be beating a 221 before you're able to beat a 119 or 319 if you follow this and you just have enough gear for 1 DPS and for your tanks and Vortex not to suck. It really is that simple. So that's why I like highlighting this so much. I've probably done, and I promise I'm not exaggerating, a minimum of 1,000 gear raid 2 takeovers, and it probably is closer. It's probably over 1,500 at this point. There was a time where I did 2 or 3 of these a day when I was getting started. Now I do, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 a week, but it's been over 2 years. And yeah, been on so many accounts, so many levels, OP accounts, barely beating at accounts, and you can always get it done. This is something you can beat on day 35 when you get your A1 Vulca. So here's the end of the battle, and you'll just see how quickly Hotsit can take it down. I'll take this moment to say, if you made it to the end of this video and this helped you beat it for the first time, or you just learned something, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps out, and I would really appreciate it. I've been Fastidious. I've got guides on basically anything. Yes, you can just go on my Discord, The Fast and Fastidious, and tag me, or just search my name, Watcher of Realms, and a topic, and I probably have a video on that. So there you can see the first Hotsit ult basically kills him now with Power of Dominance on in the corner, and we are good to go. Thank you guys, share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.